Right, so I've managed to actually compose myself just ever so slightly after the ending of Banana Fish, so I'm actually able to talk now more than what I was able to beforehand. Alright, let's see if everything's working correctly. Mm. I think everything's working correctly. I think we're actually good to go. So, anyway, I also put on Twitter actually kind of gone live for the review itself. I've actually really ever separated my reviews in a long time. This has been the first one I've ever done in, like, I believe about a year or possibly ever. I'm trying to remember even beforehand at this point, but it's actually put on Twitter actually gone live for the review. So gone live for the review of Banana Fish. Right, so yeah, anyway. It's actually let's talk about the episode itself, because the episode itself was brilliant. It really was. I can't say anything less than it was brilliant, because it really was. Everything about the jeez. Just hit my headphones just then. Everything about the episode itself was absolutely incredible. It was done to the perfection that I was expecting from the last episode of the show. And yeah, I mean, the ending hit me harder than I actually imagined, to be honest. Because I was sitting there like, wow, there's actually an escape for him. There's actually an escape, but then reality just sits in and just goes, nope, don't think that, because let's face it, I've always said it since day one. The whole entirety of the show always gives you the idea that he has that escape. He's a character that has the escape. Ash has the escape out of the life he's in. He achieves it. He does. He achieves the escape. It was actually quite admirable that he achieved the escape, but then it makes you wonder, how safe is he afterwards? Because it's one of those things that the show's never actually kind of gave you this idea that he's always going to be safe. There's always going to be this lingering idea that something might in theory happen that can in theory alter the course of the narrative once again. It's one of those things that the show's always kind of done that, to the point that you always kind of had that fear every single time. There's always been that little bit of escape for him. And yeah, the ending kind of proved that perfectly. The ending proved that idea perfectly. Granted, it was outside of what I imagined actually to happen, because I wasn't expecting him to come back and actually do that. I wasn't actually expecting that to happen at all. So it's one of those things. It was shocking more than anything, because again, if it had been one of Dino's henchmen, you kind of would have said, yeah, that tells you there and then that he has no way to escape. There's always that lingering idea the past will come back to him. But someone outside of that whole entire sphere, in a way, makes you wonder that there was never going to be a safe place for him to be, because there's always going to be a person that has a grudge against him. He's a person that's actually kind of created those grudges, and it's one of those things that it proves to you that reality is just the worst. As I said last week, I guess my allegory kind of came full circle in this episode, really, when you think about it. My allegory for last week, for the La La Land allegory itself, came full circle, because, again, as I said during last week's episode's review, the narrative always kind of doesn't go for the Hollywood kind of ending. It proved perfectly in this episode. It never really went for the Hollywood ending. The idea of someone escaping their past and living happily ever after. It's what we want. It's what we expect to kind of happen in a way. But this narrative's always kind of gone, no, that's not what you're gonna get. You're not gonna get that at all. And yeah, I mean, the ending kind of gave you that idea, because the way that he started running, it kind of made you go, oh my god, he's actually gonna go back to him. He's actually gonna live happily ever after. And then reality comes back into play, and you're kind of like, oh god, yeah, reality sucks, doesn't it? And it's one of those things. The same thing happens in La La Land, but La La Land does it in a different way. La La Land kind of shows you the relationship that you wanted to happen, but didn't actually happen, through the lens of what's actually going on in the scene. But here, it was outside of that whole entire sphere. It was actually kind of like he was going to go, but then he was stopped by reality itself. And it's one of those things. I will always forever respect this episode for doing that, because it's a tough thing to pull off. The idea of how to pull off a shocking ending to an episode that kind of almost left on a kind of, it was still very sad because they're not together, but a hopeful kind of ending. But then that's the other thing this show also does. It gives you that sense that there's always a sense of hope in the, I'm tearing up slightly just talking about it again. There's always a sense of hope once again, because the letter that AG gives to Ash, which isn't really given to him personally, but the one that AG writes to him, it gives you that sense of hope. That's why he dies smiling. That's why it got me so much, because he dies smiling. It's one of those things that it just proves to you there and then, because he's always going to be with him. That's all he needed in life. He needed someone there to be with him all the time. He's not there physically, but spiritually, that's all he needs. He needs someone just there spiritually to actually kind of just guide him in a way. And it was a very kind of, in a way, sweet ending to what was actually going on. It was just one of those things that even we don't know what the actual afterword is of this whole entire show, but it just gives that sense of hope that he died with a happy God, I'm crying again. I'm crying again. He died with that happy thought. It's one of those things. It kind of then brought back this idea of the hope the show was always kind of gave you. And again, I always respect the show for always kind of using that idea, kind of the balancing out the kind of depression with the hope. It did to the point that it never felt as if it was kind of it never felt as if it was kind of just doing it for the sake of doing it. It felt genuine to what was going on here. I mean, everything that kind of happened in the show didn't really feel like it was trying to do something to actually kind of shock you. The ending could have been, if in other hands, a very kind of shock tactic ending. It could have been like one of those things that kind of you weren't expecting it, and it just kind of hit you like, oh my god. But here it was done to the point that it works, and it kind of makes you go, yeah, there was never an out for him, as in a way. He was always going to be stuck in that whole entire idea because there's always one person. But yeah, I mean, for that one reason, this show's incredible because it always kind of gave you that whole entire idea, that lingering thought of what was happening afterwards, what's going to happen afterwards. But then at the same time, it gives you that happy thought that AJ is always with him, even not physically but spiritually. That's all he kind of needed. He needed someone there. But yeah, I mean, oh boy, I need to take a 5-second break and actually get some water. So my voice is drying out because I was crying a lot after the episode ended. I was actually crying. I spent like 5 minutes in my own pool of tears. Oh man, your throat. I always kind of forget that when you cry, your throat just kind of closes up quite a bit. And it actually really does hurt afterwards. So yeah, also what I also wanted to talk about, which actually was quite a vital and also another vital aspect of the whole entire episode, was Lee's character. Because Lee's character, again, he's very interesting because the dichotomy came full circle with his character in a way. Because I said it last week, the idea of how they use the dichotomy between Ash and Lee. It's always kind of there. You're kind of wondering, okay, so they're very much similar, but one person's looking for a way out, one person's actually accepted it. And in this episode, it actually kind of did improve that also as well, because you had the whole entire idea of him kind of saying, look, just kill me, just end it right here. He's a person that kind of, in a way, gave up as well. He's a person that Ash was never going to become. He's a person that I was saying during the stream that Ash isn't. He's not a person that gives up. Ash is not a person that gives up. In a way, Lee did. He gave up and he just kind of accepted it, but also kind of wanted a way out. But life won't give him that way out because it's the complete polar opposite to what happened with Ash in a way, but kind of like in the sense that how the narrative ended. The narrative ended with him not even having that way out in the end. But he had that way out for like 5 seconds. But you get what I mean. It's the idea of how it was just showing him to be. It was showing him to be wanting that way out, but then not actually getting a way out, and just kind of going, look, just kind of end it here for me. I just don't care anymore. And it was one of those things. I liked how Singh came in, just basically gave him the speech of the century. Actually, kind of go, look, you've got to realize your own flaws here because you're a flawed person. You're a person that can't keep on like this. You can't keep hating yourself because it's true. I guess when you think about it, he's not a person that's ever been kind of spoken to in a way that kind of highlights his actual kind of flaws. Because he's a character that actually doesn't fully understand he has flaws, but he won't accept those flaws. He's a person that will just kind of keep on going self-deprecating himself to the point that he will just go into nothing. He will just keep on bringing himself down to the point that he actually has nothing left. And it's one of those things that it's frustrating to watch a person kind of go like that because it's just like he couldn't fully get a way out, but then he just doesn't want to. He doesn't want to in a way. He just kind of accepts it. But then Singh goes, "Look, you can't accept this. You've got to get out of this." And I kind of respect him for that reason. It kind of shows me the maturity of Singh's character as well. Singh's character was very mature in this episode because it kind of gave me that whole entire idea that he's a person that understands that people have those flaws. They have to fix those flaws, and he himself has understood his own flaws. Actually, kind of then be able to actually get someone else out of those flaws. It's one of those things. I actually kind of always respected him for that reason as well. The idea of how he's able to actually kind of understand his own flaws and then help others to actually kind of rectify their own flaws in a way. So it's very interesting how they actually ended in a way Lee's character, because his character arc hasn't kind of completely ended. His character arc's still very much open. He's a person that actually can't really have an ending just yet because the show won't give him that ending because he wants that ending. The show wants he in that show wants that ending, but the narrative won't give him that ending because the narrative is telling him, look, you have to kind of keep on going. It's very much polar opposite to Ash's character, as I said beforehand. He's a polar opposite because Ash is a person who never gave up. He's a person that kind of, in the face of adversity, just kept on going, kept on going, not stopping once. And it kind of made you go, yeah, he's an admirable person for doing all these things. Because a person would at this point just give up, and you saw it. You saw a person give up and accept the past, and actually kind of just realize, I can't get past this, and just end it here because there's no point. But it makes you just go how much of an amazing character Ash really is, the person as well as a character. He's a person who just never gave up once. I always forever admire that man for that one reason. The idea of how he just never gave up and actually kind of just kept on going, even just throwing away evidence as well to actually save someone else. It's one of those things that you can't help but admire his character because the person just has so much, and I kind of just love him in a way. He's an amazing person, an amazing character. But yeah, I mean, I liked how they used dichotomy in the show quite often because it was very much highlighted throughout the whole entire show. Different characters having that different dichotomy, even because you can see it with Lee's character again. Lee's character again just wanted something Ash had and didn't get that thing he wanted. In the end, he thought to himself, well, I'll just take it away from him as well, and actually he will then go into the same place I am currently. But at the same time, that gets contradicted at the end once again because Asia is always with him. Even when he's not there physically, he's always with him. So it's one of those things that there will never be that point where Lee has the exact same thing Ash has, because Ash has that forever. Lee probably won't be able to have that because, again, he's one of those people that actually can't really just conform to how people actually kind of feel towards one another. I guess I get why, because of his past. It's one of those things very interesting for that one reason, the idea of how he can't ever get out of that rut because of his own past, but also then at the same time, even now, even to the future, could he actually ever get out of that rut? We just don't know. I do apologize, my thoughts are very scattered. It's just I'm trying to process these thoughts without trying to burst out crying at the same time. But yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be a stream without actually mentioning how much an amazing character Eiji even is as well. Eiji is such an amazing character. He's my favourite character the whole entire year, besides Asidapa from Golden Kamui, because he is so amazing. He really is. He's one of those characters that I can't understand why no one will, how anyone could in theory just see anything wrong with him, because he's absolutely perfect. But he's not the perfect character that you kind of see in these kind of shows that kind of go, well, there's no single flaw with this character and he's just absolutely impeccably perfect. No, he's perfect for different reasons. In the sense, he's perfect towards the fact that he's able to make characters feel better and actually kind of fix his characters, actually make them realize their own flaws at the same time. It's one of those things that I always rather respect him as a character as well, because he's able to actually kind of make people realize their own flaws without him really kind of doing too much, in a sense. Like, he says what needs to be said at certain points, actually kind of makes them just realize, yeah, I've got to fix this. I've got someone here now that's actually able to help me. And I will forever respect him for that one reason as well. The idea of how he's able just to fix someone with just saying the right things. It's one of those things that actions speak loud. Well, I guess, yeah. Do actions speak louder than the words, or is it the other way around? That's the real question. Is it the other way around in this case? Because he's a person that kind of says the right things at the same time, also kind of using actions as well. That's seen in 22, I believe, episode 22, when he actually just goes over to hug Ash when he's actually trembling. That proves you there and then. He knows what he needs to do, actually kind of then fix on in the very kind of crucial moment. He's a character I will forever respect, because he's a character that actually kind of had a very kind of background development, but the actual development could be felt in other characters at the exact same time. He's one of those characters that kind of jumped off other characters, but also kind of fixed them at the exact same time. It was very well done how they actually handled his character in this whole entire show. And I always forever respect how the writing actually kind of portrayed him. He's a character that actually did a lot more than what people actually give him credit for. So I always will forever respect him for that one reason. And yeah, I also kind of like the fact that Blanca had his own redemption arc as well, in a way, because he's a character actually kind of, I always said from the beginning as well, the idea that he will probably be the humanity that Ash needs in this context. And in the end, he actually was. It was one of those things, actually a very neat thing to actually kind of see him go on that redemption arc, because for a little while, you're kind of like, okay, so what's going on there with his character? But then he had that kind of moment that he just changed. It was actually kind of nice to see, because he actually went on a redemption arc. But yeah, even more interesting was Dino's character, because Dino's character is one of those characters that he's very interesting because he never actually once kind of brought down Ash's character. He's a person that knew Ash's actual kind of prowess in a way. He knew that he was this person you can't mess with. He's every single time someone messes with Ash, he says, "Look, you do not want to mess with this lad because I know what he's actually capable of because I made him." It does not change a single thing what he did because he's the lowest of the low kind of person. But at the same time, it's very interesting. It kind of came from him and not another character because because in other narratives, sometimes those words get said by other characters in the kind of group. In essence, like someone might go, say someone gets captured by the antagonist, and then the character's like, "Oh, you wait for that character to come along and actually kind of just tell you, boy, you ain't gonna get this one alive." It does happen, but to actually kind of see it from an antagonist is actually very interesting because it kind of then tells you, look, even he knows that this person's very kind of strong. He's a person that won't give up, and actually kind of. It was a very interesting kind of angle to give him as well towards the end of the show because it actually kind of happened, I believe, twice that was mentioned. And it also at the end when he actually kind of kills Fox as well, it was a very interesting idea that he actually is the one to kill Fox. Because I thought to myself, Blanca would be the one to kill Fox. But actually have Dino kill him was actually very interesting as well because it's one of those things that it doesn't send him on a redemption arc, but it kind of sends him like a mini kind of like, well, I know what I've done, but I guess I'll just do one thing before I die. Basically, it's a very interesting way to actually kind of end his whole entire character. So yeah, I mean, in that way, this episode actually was brilliant for that one reason as well. Just it kind of showed you there's hope in it. It's hope in everything in a way. It's a very, even when times are tough, it just happens sometimes. It's kind of like, oh god, okay, that's interesting. It was very interesting. It was a very interesting episode overall. Even more so than just those last like 5 minutes, and also the whole episode itself. It was just very interesting. But I like the fact that it didn't go for the Hollywood ending. As what the bottom line of this whole entire show that I'm trying to say is, besides it's brilliant, the actual cinematography was absolutely incredible. The use of the kind of pseudo movie references actually was really freaking well done as well, and everything else. But the bottom line is, I like the fact that it didn't go for the Hollywood ending. It didn't go for the ending that kind of makes you go, well, okay, I feel fulfilled in the sense I can actually leave this place happy. You kind of do in theory leave the place happy because there's always that lasting memory that Ash actually has Eiji. But then it kind of deviates that ever so slightly by saying, look, he didn't get the way out he wanted because there was always going to be that lingering idea that person he didn't really expect. So I actually kind of like the fact that it didn't go for that Hollywood ending because it kind of makes you go, yeah, that's what reality is like. Reality is like this, and in that way, this show's very realistic. It kind of just shows you, look, you can't always think to yourself, well, everything's going to have a Hollywood ending in narratives because it's not always the case. And I always kind of like shows and movies that kind of go against the Hollywood norm in a way. Kind of go against the studio system. Actually, kind of go, yeah, this is not the ending you were actually expecting. I mean, it kind of gave us the ending in a way that we wanted, but in a different kind of way, in a more spiritual kind of sense. So yeah, I mean, overall, it was just a brilliant show. It's probably one of my favourite shows in a very long time. Probably up there with Sangatsu, actually, for the kind of like, oh my god, I did not expect the show to be this brilliant kind of show. So, I mean, props to you, Mappa, but also, I don't have choice words for you for the ending as well. Just I don't want to think about the ending at all. Episode 24 did not happen towards the end of the episode. I mean, in my head, they lived happily ever after, old Ash and Eiji, and actually kind of just lived a happy life. And then Blanca actually kind of went back to Caribbean as well, actually kind of lived out his life as well. And also Sing as well. He just had an awesome life as well. Everyone had awesome lives, besides the people that actually kind of weren't so awesome in the show itself. But yeah, I mean, sorry I wasn't able to actually kind of review this at the end because these were all my kind of thoughts that was actually kind of going through my brain for the whole entire episode. But the problem was the emotions got to me so badly I just couldn't speak. My throat was so dried up, my eyes was crying so much. If I spoke, I just burst into tears. That's why I wasn't able to actually kind of just say what I wanted to say. But I mean, hopefully this whole entire 20-minute episode, 20-minute stream actually kind of did in theory just project what I wanted to say. Also want to say as well, before my brain actually kind of forgets as well, is the use of colour. The use of colour in this show was freaking brilliant, I must say, because I've always respected shows that kind of go above beyond the use of colour, because colour's a very integral part of screen making of filmmaking. Sometimes you do see it more often in some movies than others, but the ones that go above and beyond are the ones I kind of respect more often. And this show kind of did that perfectly, because it kind of used the idea of green to actually kind of show the idea there actually is a new life for Ash. I mean, the end didn't get that because life sucks, but still, the use of the green in the show was freaking incredible, because it was always very prominent in the actual show itself. And you kind of, if you go, yeah, there's always this idea that there will be a new life for him somewhere. There was, for a moment, a new life for him, but at the same time, it was one of those things that reality just sits in and just goes, yeah, no, that's not what's happening here, lad. You're not gonna get that ending you want, because life is not like that. Again, it's one of those things that I will probably respect the show for just doing that, just kind of giving us that ending that just doesn't give you what you want. It's what we need more often. I believe we need more films, TV shows, anime, and I guess in a way books as well, that actually kind of do this, because otherwise you kind of just you hit a point, you feel satisfied, but you kind of get bored after a while. So it's actually kind of nice to get those shows that kind of go against that. And I believe this show needs to be talked about more often as time goes on. I hope once the show's ended, that more people actually start talking about the show, because this show has so much that can in theory be dissected. The characters can be dissected to the point they actually can in theory probably write a thesis on them, because they actually are very deep characters. I mean, Eiji, Ash, Lee, Shorter, everyone are very deep characters that can in theory be kind of dissected to the point that you can in theory just write thesis on them, because it's just one of those things that just they are written to the point that you actually do in theory feel that. And yeah, I mean, hopefully now the show's ended, more people actually kind of pick it up and actually kind of watch, actually kind of just see what I mean about the show being this incredible kind of thing that no one's actually kind of watching, because it is the most incredible show that no one's literally watching right now. I don't understand it. Everyone's watching other shows, and just, what about Banana Fish? Banana Fish is literally just the most incredible thing ever. I will never understand why I don't really see many people talk about it. But yeah, I mean, well, that's me for now, because I probably will cover the spin-offs to this manga as well. Because I thought to myself, it might as well cover the spin-offs as well, because they actually are integral parts of the whole entire story as well. So we'll probably cover those as time goes on. Probably in the new year, I might cover one of them as time goes on. Just keep on doing that. So do be on the lookout for that. But as always, hope you enjoyed this whole entire review series. I'm sorry I wasn't actually here for the whole entirety of it, because I was here for episode 1, but not episode 2 to 6, because of the whole thing with YouTube and also being on holiday as well. But I actually hope you actually have enjoyed this whole entire series of me actually reviewing and also reacting to this whole entire series. It's been an absolute pleasure it's been an absolute pleasure watching this show, because it's just been so incredible watching how these characters grew as time went on. Actually, how much I grew attached to them. And actually, in the end, how much my heart just destroyed itself as well. But yeah, I hope you actually have enjoyed my scattered thoughts on this whole entire series as well. I do apologize if my thoughts aren't kind of very cohesive, because I tend to actually kind of just say what's in my brain at that very one time. So my brain kind of projects what I'm trying to say in a very kind of scattered way. So hopefully what I'm trying to say does make sense. I'm hoping it does. But again, I actually hope you actually have enjoyed this whole entire review series, stream series, and however you want to call it as well. Actually, if you have enjoyed this whole entire series on YouTube, then do leave a good old like on YouTube, because indeed, something quite a bit. And also, if you have enjoyed it here on YouTube and you do want to stay a bit longer, then do leave a sub, because indeed, there's something quite a bit. And also, as well, if you actually want to stay a bit longer after that whole entire point, then do follow me on Twitter, because indeed, there's something quite a bit. Actually, know when streams go live, and the other streams I do as well. And as well, if you actually haven't got a Twitter account, do even for a Discord server as well. Discord server doesn't free tell you when the streams go live. And the other streams I do as well. But until next time, with whatever Mappa does next, which I believe is Dororo. Is it Dororo? Is the next show they're actually doing? I'll see you guys then. Bye for now.